for Harfield. 1-0 Burnley. Scott Harfield. He's been threatening that recently. And all the Burnley players run to the Darwin end. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from Robbie Blake! Burnley's first goal in the Premier League is something very, very special.
Wade Elliott has that change of pace and he's got away from Montgomery. It's the path of McCann and the follow-up finds the net. What a strike from Wade Elliott. A bolt from the Claret and Blue.
Oh, goodness me! What a goal from Patterson! If that is to be the one that takes them to Wembley, you cannot argue with that. Pure quality.
Here goes Mike Conroy. Still time for a winner maybe. John Francis! They came to York in their thousands. They're going home as champions.
I mean, if there's any justice in the world, Burnley would surely score from this corner. Swung right in there. Ball in there. Yeah! Michael Carrick! Oh, that's justice! That is justice at the Amex Stadium. Burnley are level and deserve to be.
Hello everyone and welcome along to the latest episode of the Turfcast podcast pre-game show with me, Joe Redmond, ahead of a massive game for the Clarets up on Teesside at the Riverside Stadium, a ground where we don't traditionally do that well at. I mean, I'm just saying that off memory. I can't remember particularly the last time we won there. I'm sure someone straight away will come in with a stat and let me know in the comments. But I don't think I've ever seen us win there, put it that way. But of course, this could be the weekend that we are finally, I say finally, it's just turned April, you know, I'm just getting a little bit impatient because it could have happened on the 1st of April if we'd have beat Sunderland and some other stuff went our way, but it didn't. But yeah, if we beat Borough at the Riverside, we go back up, provided Luton do not win at Millwall. Back up at the first attempt, and I'm sure even the most optimistic Burnley fan didn't expect us to be this good this season and be knocking on the door of the Premier League so early on. I remember saying at the start of the season, yes, I thought Company would do okay, but I expected with such a big change in ethos for it to take time and for us to be having a bit of a late push at this stage of the season. So obviously very happy to be in this position. And if we don't beat Middlesbrough and Middlesbrough do win, you know, it's no shame in losing to what I believe is the second best side in the league, especially since the World Cup. Then we just go up on Monday, hopefully, against Sheffield United to get some revenge there. Or if we don't go up on Monday, we'll just go up the week after. It's happening. We're going up. It's just a case of when rather than if. Of course, we have a Middlesbrough fan waiting in the wings. I will bring him in now. Just before I do, actually, sorry, Johnny, is just so you are aware, the camera keeps going off. So if it goes off and the placeholder thing comes up, I'm still here, everybody. But it's been doing it a few times then in the intro. I will panic behind the scenes. I was quickly turning the camera on and off. It was a bit of a nightmare. But like I said, Middlesbrough fan waiting in the wings. It's Johnny, and he's from Borough Breakdown. There he is. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm very well, Joe. Thank you very much. And I hope you go up on Monday as well. So you can, that would be great if you could do it. Could do it then. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for coming on, mate. I know you've got work and stuff, and we've been trying to sort out times and stuff. And then I forgot that I had to take my little boy to football training, so that's going to be a quick rush. But anyway, I do want to talk. I do like to talk about Middlesbrough. But first of all, I am going to talk about Huddersfield. Sorry, that was unintentional because it was just one of them games. I was like, oh, Middlesbrough about the floor with them. It could be 3-4-0, but then you got absolutely murdered, didn't you? You were 4-1 down, I think, at one point. What happened?
Yeah, look, these games happen to I think every team every season, and you just don't know how it's happened. Went there in the first half, control possession was like 80% possession, 1-0 up. You thought, it's how many are we going to score, rather than I didn't think I expect us to get beat. But obviously in the second half we just capitulated, and it's not like the first time we've done that under Carrick in terms of conceding goals in such a short space of time. I think we did it against you guys first, where it was pretty much a balanced game, and then the next thing you know, we're 2-0 down, and we're like, all right, okay, the game's near enough dead. We did it against West Brom, where we conceded 2 in 2 minutes, and then obviously against Huddersfield, conceded 4 in like 20. And I honestly don't know how it happened. Honestly, I'm still mystified. It was just a game where we just capitulated, and I can't explain it. For 82%, 82 passes, I think Huddersfield had in the entire game, and they managed to score 4. Wow. So it just cracks me up. But look, it's one of those games. I hope it's just past. It's gone now. But we were always going to get Warnocked. Like he's had 12. I think it's 13 games he's had against us now, and he's won 11 of them. And it's just like he is just our kryptonite. So. I mean, is what it is, but hopefully we can move on to Friday and get something against you guys.
Yeah, that's an astonishing stat, though, isn't it? 80-odd passes and scoring 4 goals. That's got to be a world first. Like, I know you said you can't explain how it happened, but what were the goals like that you conceded? Were they just typical Warnock long balls, flick on sort of thing, or was it decent play?
No, it was just individual errors. Individual errors, poor defending from set pieces. And I think statistically we are a side that will give away 1 or 2 big chances within a game, but then previously we just haven't been getting punished for it. And then for whatever reason, against probably one of the lowest scoring teams, they managed to score 4. So I feel like the XG numbers just finally just caught with us to some extent. But in terms of like their goals, like I said, individual errors. Their first goal, he's able to skip past 3 tackles and then hit bend it around the goalkeeper in the net. Couple of defensive issues in the set pieces, and it just from that really. I think it's just like a bad day at the office defensively, to be honest. We did swap Paddy McNair for Dale Fry. Paddy gives you more in terms of playing up from the back and trying to be progressive and come up midfield, whereas Dale Fry is more like your hoof and kicker type defender. And we just swapped it for that game. And to be honest, that was the only difference was you could see within the team. It was just a case of like that 15, 20 minutes after one goal, it was the second goal straight away. And then like you feel a bit shell shocked. And like I can't remember another team I'd probably like describe this as was Manchester City. When they're playing the Champions League, where they're in control of a game, and then the team will score 2 or 3 within a minute, and it's just like, wow, they're out. Like this is kind of like how it happened to us. Well, yeah, just one of those things. I think just individual errors and poor defender from set players.
Fair enough. Thank you for that Manchester City reference, then, by the way. I've just started to get over that 6-0 defeat in the FA Cup.
Sorry, I forgot.
That's exactly how it happened to us. We were kind of in control. The better side for the first half an hour, amazingly, against City. Playing out from the back at City and getting beating their lines. And next thing you know, we're 2-0 down. It was like, how has that happened? But yeah, is what it is. We move on. Talk to me about your season so far, then, because obviously you've got to be quietly impressed. Yes, it's looking like, thanks to the weekend, that second spot. I mean, I'll get onto that in a bit, but that second spot might be a little bit out of reach. And you probably might be more frustrated, I guess, than anything, that if you'd have had a decent start or had Carrick from the start, that you would probably be in the position that Sheffield United are in rather than the position that you're in yourselves. But your season so far, impressed, frustrated? What's the overriding emotion?
I've loved this season. I've absolutely loved it. It's pinched me type of season, because I've never seen a Borough side play so well as a unit for a long time. And with that, like the results have been great, averaging like 2 or 3 goals a game. Like it's like unreal to see, right? But at the start of the season, for whatever reason, and well, there was many reasons why it didn't work out for Chris Wilder. Him, applying for the Burnley job and then suddenly didn't get it. Was applying for the Bournemouth job, didn't get it, and then like, why are you applying for other jobs when you're our manager, kind of thing. And that clearly the dressing room was fractured at that point. Between the coach, the staff, and the players. You just need someone to come in and put the arm around the players and just tweak things ever so slightly, because all of our underlying numbers were great. And we've got a good side. We were quite good last year. And then we've just really kicked on. And it's just credit to Michael Carrick and like the coaching staff in the group that we have, because we've just been really, really fun to watch. And I've just enjoyed every moment of it. And to be where we are now is just crazy, because no one expected us to be in the position that we're in at all. And now it's just a case of, can we still get second? Maybe. Are we going to get in the playoffs and win that? I don't know, but has it been a great season overall? Yeah, it's been amazing, and I wouldn't probably change it any other way at the minute, because it's just been that. Honestly, it's been that fun. And yeah, I've just loved it. I've just honestly loved it.
Yeah, it's good to hear, to be fair. I mean, I hope you don't enjoy Friday. But I've been the same. Like, this season's been a proper, like, it's probably, I say it a lot. This has probably been my favourite ever season following Burnley. You know, I'm 35 now. I've seen us finish 7th. I've seen us win the playoffs in this league. I've seen us win this league before. But this season has got to be my favourite, I think, following Burnley. So it's good to see other football fans enjoying it, especially match-going fans as well. If you just sit at home when you say, I'm not arsed watching a big 16. What's the difference then between Carrick and Wilder? I mean, I know there's pretty obvious ones in terms of style of play and stuff like that, but why do you think it's working so well under Carrick but didn't work at all under Wilder? Is it because Carrick gets the club? Because, of course, he cut his teeth as a player at Middlesbrough, and now he's kind of cutting his teeth as a manager there as well. Do you think he just gets the club, or do you think he's just a better, more intelligent manager?
I don't think it's like cutting the teeth stuff or understanding the club. I think it's just a case of like Wilder didn't want to be here. And when you pretty much make it obvious that you don't want to be at a club, like it's going to trickle down to the players, right? They're not wanting to play like for you rather than put like running the guts out for it. Like, you know what I mean? So last year under Wilder, we were in a 3-5-2. It was quite a complex system, right? When you've got overlapping centre halves, you're trying to play with width. It can be one-dimensional to some extent because you are playing patterns on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, and you can pretty much shut up shop. And if once you find it out, we're just one-dimensional. We're going to hit it long. We'll put strikers on. Under Carrick, it's a little bit different. So we've tweaked it to a 4-2-3-1 rather than the 3-5-2. But when Middlesbrough play and go forward, we do play with 3 at the back. So it's interesting to see us like change shape ever so slightly. But we are more possession focused now than we have been. The key focus of it is probably Tuba, and also the way that Riley McGree brings the game in. So Riley McGree will play on the left-hand side, but he'll have like more of a free roam. And what will happen is he'll move over to the right-hand side, or we'll double up on the left just to create like an overload. And then that in itself will create space to get in behind for Archer. So it's quite a nice system. It's quite basic, but it's just all about attacking space, which is probably the difference to what we had under Chris Wilder, where it was just a case of let's stretch the game out, let's make it a bit more of like a basketball match. But this is more controlled and more focused. But like obviously that's the tweak side of things. That's the thing you see on the pitch. Like off the pitch, it's different because we needed someone really to come in and kind of say to the players like, look, you guys can play football. Like you've proved it. You've done it last season. We've improved the squad from the previous year. And how can we get the best out of you? So he's just changed the focus from me, which was Chris Wilder, to let's focus on the group, let's focus on the process, and let's just find a way to attack space the way we can. And I think it's just been the arm around the shoulder stuff, which has probably benefited us a lot, to be honest. Like, because like I was saying earlier, like all of our underlying numbers were there. Like we were about 4th or 5th in terms of like XG numbers, missed chances, all this stuff. And we're playing really well, but we just weren't getting decent results. But once that tweak happens, we just go on this incredible run. I think if you like look at our numbers now, I think we're like minus 12 points from where we should be, which is pretty nuts to consider like the amount of form we've been in. But in the terms of the difference, it's just been more off the pitch than on it. You can definitely see the togetherness now of the group rather than you did under Chris Wilder. And credit to the man. Like honestly, it's been so like good. The turnaround's like you can't describe how good the turnaround's been, but we're nowhere near the best team in the championship by country mile, and that is yourselves. And it's honestly what Vinny's doing at your place is just absolutely nuts. I've never seen anything like that either. I watched a lot of Anderlecht last year. Weirdly, a weird second team, right? But like he just couldn't see games out, and I don't know why. And I was really interested to see how he would do. But he's just been unreal. He's been so good. So obviously credit to him as well.
Yeah, well, that brings me on nicely to my next question. I always like to get people's opinions on Burnley's season so far. I mean, it's easy to say that when you're top, but I promise you, I asked it last season as well. But it's one of them, isn't it? Because it's not just the fact that we're top; it's the fact that we've completely changed the style of play. And like I said, I presumed we would start slowly, and then maybe when the players bought into it a bit more and knew the system a bit better, that we'd just kick on and push on and have a late push. But apart from a slightly slow start for probably the first 6, 7, 8 games, we've been pretty much dominant, especially since the World Cup. We've been absolutely rampant. So what are your thoughts on Burnley's season so far? And more specifically, because you've just mentioned it there, the job that Vincent Kompany himself has done.
Yeah, Vinny's done a great job, right? He's completely revolutionised Burnley, and I think you guys must be pinching yourself most weeks because you're like, oh my god, we are playing unbelievable football rather than the direct football you were playing for quite a long time. And to bring the players that you've brought in, like a young group who are wanting to grow with the club, it must be nice to see. It definitely is nice to see from afar. Obviously, there's a couple of players that I was aware of, like Josh Cullen coming in, Wonderlect, and I was so jealous when you guys brought him in because he was so good last year from the left, and like this year, you can just see how he completely dictates your games with the ball. And he's really good. Well, I just like how he's played, and from afar, it's nice to see how you are looking to maybe have like some sort of element to City where you are trying to bring one player to one side, then you'll have the long ball over to Maatsen on the left.
Yeah.
His ability to get forward and create big chances has been really promising as well. And he's just looked really good. He looked really solid. I know there is some sort of like weaknesses there, maybe like the last 15 minutes where you've conceded goals, or that midsection within that first half where I think you've conceded quite a few. But in terms of that, like what I think, average the best possession in the league or something, best pass completion, like it must be really good to see like so much of a controlled unit in a well-drilled team. So really impressed, to be honest. Really impressed to see it. But I was interested to see Josh Brownhill play a bit deeper in the last game. I was wondering like if is that like something that you guys have seen the last couple of weeks, or was it just like a one-off with Cork?
We saw it quite a lot under Dyche. Dyche liked to play him in that double pivot role or that defensive midfield role, whatever you want to call it. And since Kompany has come in, he's pushed him further forward. He's been much better because that's a position I believe he played for Bristol City in the Championship the last time he was here and did very well with them. And he got a lot of stick last year. People were saying, "Oh, he's not good enough for the Prem" and things like that. And I used to always defend him, said he's not playing in the position that he would probably want to play in. I believe we should be having Cork and Cullen in that double pivot role, which I hope to God we do against you, because we're coming up against some good strikers that we'll get onto in a minute. So we need that protection there in front of the defence. Cullen and Cork needs to be there. And last time out, I don't know why he did it, but for the first time ever he played, Teller, Benson and Zarore, all of them behind Ashley Barnes, whereas normally it's one or two and then Brownhill in the number 10 role. So I think he went a little bit too... There was nobody there to dictate the play in that, because all them three are the kind of players that will get the ball and either run at defenders or, in Teller's case, run without the ball, try and get him behind and things like that. So you need somebody like a Brownhill in there to try and get his foot on the ball and look for the pass. So I'm hoping we do that against you.
He drops in, right? So does he like drop in like the midfield with the double pivot? So then, like, that creates space for Teller to...
Yeah. And then... There's a lot of fluidity to our possession, similar formation. Similar to what you guys do. We do go three at the back, and then Cullen will sometimes drop in as well into centre back and things like that, which is weird. Or Roberts as well. So it can be quite difficult to see sometimes what we are actually doing. But yeah, I think for me, I'd have him in that 10 row to get his foot on the ball, to try and pick out the pass, and then. The main problem with the Sunderland game was we had all the best players on the pitch. So when it wasn't working, there wasn't really anything we could do to change it. So I would personally I'd love to see Jay back, but I don't know what's happened to Jay. He's either fallen out of favour or he's had a really bad injury. But I believe he's okay now. So it's going to be Ashley Barnes in that striker role. I'd have Teller on one side, Benson on the other, Brownhill in the middle, and then Cork and Cullen in that double pivot role. That would be perfect for me. That's a really good side, and I think that's hopefully what we do on Friday up at your place. But obviously, I've just mentioned there you've got some very good strikers. You've mentioned his name already. I do want to talk. I want you to tell me how to stop Chuba Akpom, if possible, please.
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. Yeah. Chuba's been amazing. No one ever seen that coming, right? It's for someone who was going to be expected to be out of the club probably in the summer transfer window, comes back, and then he's now scored 25 goals in the league this year, which is just nuts. Especially playing as a number 10, which is even more nuts when you think about it. How do you stop him, and how do we get the best out of him? We get the best out of him because we give him the freedom to come into the midfield, to create space for the other team, and he's always tends to be that last player in the box kind of thing, and it'll get pulled back to him, which is natural, and you guys will probably do something very similar, right? With like how he's just, I don't know, he's just been in the right place at the right time. A lot of the goals, like with Giles knocking the ball in, he worked a lot on his game to understand where he was playing, and he's just, I just don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Like there is obviously a lot of stuff that he's worked on in this game, like in terms of bringing players in, bringing the in and out of the game, getting in the right areas of the box, finishing his chances. There's a lot of stuff which can accumulate with that. But then how do you stop him? You see, if you stop Chuba, there's going to be another option, because like that's kind of similar to you guys, right? Where if you let's try and stop Nathan Teller, how many goals he got this year, like 16, 17. So
Quite a
like
lot, yeah.
let's put a couple on Nathan Teller. It creates more space for like someone else, like Brownhill or is it Zuria?
Zarore, I would drop him at the minute, but
Yeah.
he's class. Benson, he's just come back from injury. There's like you say, you're the same. There's so many options.
So yeah, like there's different options to have, right? So like if you stop, how to stop Chuba is probably stopping the service around him. So how can you take Giles out of the game? How can you take Hackney out of the game? How can you take Cameron Archer out of the game? So there's like little things like that, I think, which you can stop the overall team. But for me, Cameron Archer is probably just as lethal, to be honest. He's been really, really good since he's came in, clinical, and just is very quick, and he's causing defenders a lot of problems. So I'm hoping he gives Harwood Bellis a bit of a nightmare, because I feel like he is probably the one weakling that I'm hoping we try and capture on.
Interesting. A lot of people think he's our best defender. So that's interesting that you see that. Yeah. I personally think Bay is the best defender, but we'll see who he plays, because Ekdal could play. But judging by the team that he chose against Sunderland, it will probably be Bayer and Taylor Harwood Bellis. Let's look more on. In fact, before we go into the actual game itself, I don't want to cause any anxiety by asking you this question, but I do want to talk about that race for the top two. Do you think you're going to do it? I mean, there's been so many people. I've always said, look, you'd rather have points on the board. I know Sheffield United have been stuttering, and they've got Wembley to look forward to now as well. So there might be another stutter coming here. He says as he's stuttering. But I don't know. You'd rather have points on the board, wouldn't you, than be the chasing pack? I always feel that way anyway. So I've always said I think Sheffield United will get over the line, and then obviously with the weekend just gone, you losing and then winning, I'm convinced now that they'll do it. But what are your thoughts on it? Do you think you can catch them, or do you think you'll just have to be resigned to the playoffs?
They should do it. Realistically, they should have done it a few weeks ago, right? And then stuttered. But look, it's definitely still on. Like we can still do it. And would I like us to do it? Yeah, absolutely. I'd probably prefer the automatic at the minute rather than the heartache at Wembley. So maybe a couple of weeks ago I would have said yes, but I did say that we would probably lose to Huddersfield anyway. So, but I expected them to probably draw, at least not win at Norwich. But can we do it? Potentially, yeah. I'd like to say yes. Whether it'll happen, probably not. But they've got a lot of fixtures pretty much clunked up together right towards the end of the season, so we'll see how that goes. Will they trip up against like the teams like Wigan at the weekend, who are fighting for relegation? They've got to go to Huddersfield, and they've got tough games. Like we probably should have beat Huddersfield, but you can't take the championship anyway, isn't it? Like you lose the games you expect to win, so it's who knows. But I would like to say we still have a very slim chance.
Yeah, I think you win the playoffs personally. When I look at the top three, I just think they're so much better than the rest of the division. Luton are okay. I guess that's why they're fourth. But the rest of the playoffs, you've got Millwall. They're hit. They're a strong side, but they hit and miss. Blackburn, I know it's Blackburn, so people will think I'm just saying this because it's Blackburn, but I do not understand how they are sixth. Genuinely. Then you've got your Norwiches and your Coventries, who could push into it. Hopefully they do, not Blackburn out of it. I think you're better than all of them, if I'm honest with you, mate. So even if you don't finish second, which to be honest, I don't think you will, I do think you're in the playoffs.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Joe. So, I hope we do that. I really hope we do that, because I cannot go to Wembley again and see Middlesbrough get beat. I just can't do it. We've never ever won at Wembley, so please, just one time. That'd be delightful if we could do that.
Yeah. I did not know that. That's an interesting stat. I don't think we've. Oh, no, I'm going to say I don't think we ever lost there. Yeah, we have 1988, but I've never seen us lose there because I was 3 months old in 1988, so it don't count. I didn't know what was going on. Thoughts on the game then? How do you expect the game to pan out? Not necessarily with predictions, but sort of like the style of play. Like, do you think it's going to be two teams free-flowing attacking football, or do you think we'll cancel each other out a bit like Chelsea and Liverpool did last time? You, that's not count. They're just both shit these days, aren't they? But it's or do you think we might maybe try and hit you on the counter or something like that, and maybe throw a curveball in there? Like, how do you think the game's going to go?
Yeah, I think this would be a bit of a curveball. Like, I mean, ideally for the pair of us, we would both love free scoring football, a 5-5 or something. Like, it'd be great, right? Everyone would love that. I mean, that'd be great. But I think we'll dominate possession personally, which is strange, given that you guys have probably the most possession in the league. Mainly because when we went to Swansea, we were probably the only side to, I think, this season to pretty much get like 60-70% possession against them. And we just made things really difficult for them. So I feel like we'll do something similar, but with that, we will create a lot of space for ourselves. So you guys will get in behind, and what you did against us in the second half at Turf Moor, you put us to bed within the space of 5 minutes, right? So like Nathan Teller with his left peg, just absolutely whipping it, which was a killer. But yeah, I think we'll probably do something like that. I think we'll dominate the game in terms of possession stats. Will we create enough? I don't know, but I'm very interested to see how it'll play out, because I think we can go into this game with no expectations. To be honest, it's not our game to win you guys. If you want to win it and have the pressure on yourselves to get promoted, then there's probably more pressure on you guys to get something. So I'm hoping to see that kind of helps us in a way. But I think we'll have more of the ball, but whether that's good enough, I don't really know. I'm nervous but excited to see it, I think.
Yeah, same. I agree. I'm quite nervous, but not nervous because I'm comfortable with where we are. So if we get beat, it's not the end of the world. Excited more than anything. I am going up, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I agree. I think we might just try, not necessarily sit back and invite pressure, but sort of like let you have the ball and then maybe getting behind that way. It's funny you mentioned Swansea, because that's the only place we've been this season where we haven't dominated possession. Off the top of my head, again, someone will give me an example of where somebody had 51% possession and we only had 49. But yeah, I think they had about 60 odd themselves there, and it's the only time that we haven't dominated possession. So that's interesting. So I think it'll be another game where we do try and let the other team have the ball, and then hit you that way. Because we've got plenty of pace in the side, obviously Teller. And then, we're quite good at playing it out from the back, so we'll probably invite the press and things like that. But my concern is I don't know if it's nerves because we're getting close to being promoted and it's a group of young lads who have never really been in this position before. Because, they're on the cusp of something really, really good, winning the championship, getting promotion. We've just not been that good recently. We've had a few poor results recently. 0-0 at home to Sunderland. I know they're a decent side and they got in our faces and executed the game plan pretty well. But there was a draw against Blackpool recently as well, who are absolutely terrible. They're going down. So frustratingly, there's two sides so far that we haven't beaten this season that we've played twice. One's Watford, and you think, fair enough. The other one's Blackpool. We didn't beat Blackpool at any point in this season, so that's a strange one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I do think we might see something a little bit different from Burnley. Like I said, I don't think we'll have most of the ball. I think you will. I agree with that. I think we'll let you have it though because of how well you've done since Carrick's come in. So I think there'll be a little bit of, not fear, but a little bit of respect in there from us and just be like, right, they're good, let them have the ball, but we're good enough to counter them. Predictions then, I would be happy with the draw. Obviously, sooner we go up, the better. I think it's going to be 1-1. I think it's going to be a tough game, two good sides. So yeah, I'm going 1-1, but I think I don't know if I'll get some criticism for that because I very rarely predict us not to win anymore. That last season, I predicted us to 1-1 every time because I didn't want to say we'll get beat. But this time, I do generally leave it be a draw. I think it'll be a good game, two good sides going for it. So yeah, I will take a draw right now, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, like you guys are on the cusp as well, isn't it? Like when you're on the cusp of glory, like you always stumble, don't you? It's always to do with always with football, but I don't know. I think even you guys saying you're not playing particularly well is still dangerous because what a game to do it. Do you know what I mean? Against someone who's in the playoffs to get promoted in. So I mean, you hope you do it on Monday instead. But I think it'll be 1-1, or we could maybe win. If we win, just because of like it keeps things interesting for the automatics. Whether we will win, I don't really know. But I'm going to go with 1-1 with you. I think it'd be a score draw, definitely.
Yeah, I don't mind going up on Monday, mate. So if we can all come to an agreement where we go up on Monday, it'd be nice to go up against Sheffield Wednesday after what they did to us earlier in the season, to lay a marker and be like, right, you dicks. Because every time I put a post up, like, there's always a Sheffield United fan underneath it. Oh yeah, but you got beat at Bramall Lane, didn't you? It's like, mate, that was November. We're in April now. You're still going on about it. You're going to Wembley. Chill out. So it would be nice to go up against them. But hey, if we go up on Friday, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, at Turf Moor, you know, they just
so many people keep saying, like, so many people keep saying, oh, let's just go up at home. But I don't know. I'll be there anyway, so it'll be fine, and I'll get some content for the channel. So I'm happy days with that. So
it's a win-win, isn't it? It's a win-win for you. So
happy days. Well, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure. Really good talker. Enjoyed that one. Just before I do let you go and we say our goodbyes, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you and your channel and how to digest your content?
Yeah, sure. So you can find us at Borough Breakdown. So it's Borough_Breakdown on Twitter, the Borough Breakdown on YouTube, and all your podcast providers. So yeah, just find us there. We just chat everything about Middlesbrough. Sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's like against Huddersfield where you just want to cry on the mic. But yeah, that's where you can find us. But thank you very much for having me on, Joe. I really enjoyed that.
No, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. As I said, been a pleasure. Good luck for the rest of the season. There's not much of it left now. Good luck in the playoffs if that's the route you go down. I hope you break that Wembley hoodoo. Especially, I mean, you're not going to play Blackburn in the playoffs because even if the playoffs finished now, you would be playing them in the semis. You are so much better than them. Like, I would be very, very astounded if you didn't win the playoffs. Like, looking at the teams in the playoffs.
Please don't jinx us, Joe. Please don't do it. I can't do it.
If you get beat by Blackburn, I'll be personally inviting you back on the show just to like ask you what went on. I'll be like, mate, what have you done? What have you done?
I'll blame you.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll probably accept it, to be fair. But mate, like I said, thank you for coming on. I need to get off. I need to take my little boy to football training. We will hopefully be doing a full-time show. I've already spoken to Neil. He is free. It'll probably be, it's not Easter Saturday, is it? It's just Saturday. The Saturday after Good Friday. So it probably will be Saturday morning. And then I'm not sure we'll have time to get a pre-game show in with a Sheffield United fan because it's just so fast and so many games in between. And I'm travelling up to Bury, then I'm coming back. Then I'm working Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see. I might not get a pre-game showing with a Sheffield United fan, but I'll definitely try and get a full-time showing. But Johnny, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, Joe. Thanks for having me on there.
And, yep, happy days, mate. And we will see you all next time.